good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to TCB's Minnesota Family Business Conversation Series. I'm Allison Kaplan, Editor-in-Chief of Twin Cities Business. Thank you for joining us over the lunch hour. We've really enjoyed spending all these Tuesdays with you. We're going to miss you next week. This is the final event in our 5-week series highlighting our 2020 Family Business Award honorees who are all featured in our September-October issue of Twin Cities Business. You can also read about them online at tcbmag.com. You know, this conversation series has been a bit like an MBA course. We get to hear directly about challenges, pivots, growth strategies, and that common theme, how family sets the culture for the entire company. The companies we recognize each year in our Family Business Awards stand out not only for financial success, but their transition plan, their structure, and of course, the legacy that they are building in our community. For those of you joining us today, feel free to use the comment section on your screen. You can ask questions, post them there, and we'll be sure to ask them throughout the discussion. We also will post this online as we have our previous conversations, so you can share them with colleagues or watch the highlights again. Well, before I introduce today's guest, I just want to briefly thank our sponsors, all of whom are very strong advocates of family business. Frederickson and Byron, the University of St. Thomas Family Business Center, the Platinum Group, and finally, we want to thank our very special program founder and partner in this endeavor, Hubler for Business Families. Today, we're going to speak with Tom Ryan, Vice President of People and Culture at Oppidan, one of our 2020 Minnesota Family Business winners, and Michaela Smith, this year's recipient of the Hubler Award. Before we introduce Tom, let's take a look at a video produced by our video production partner, Studio 120. It'll tell you a little bit more about Oppidan.
We're a property development company on a national level. We focused for 20 years on the retail sector.
10 years ago, we were a 95-ish% retail-focused development company. Now we're at 40 employees. We've got 3 offices, including Minneapolis.
I would say, we're a family company, small, entrepreneurial, and while we do have those roots, we have big ambitions, and we want to continue to grow the company into the future.
Our niche is partnering with agility, so we pride ourselves in partnering with whether it's equity or contractors or architects or operators on the senior side. We pride ourselves in being good partners.
And the goal is to do what we're set to do. We're doing development for clients. It's to do right by the client first and foremost.
It's a very family-style atmosphere. It's certainly there's a strong level of accountability, strong morals. Humility is a big part.
I would say our culture is incredible. The continued growth as individuals has allowed us to get where we are today. And I think our future is incredibly bright. And a lot of it goes back to the family culture of our company.
Well, I'll tell you that the Oppidan family is all 42 of us. That's our family, and that's what we try. That's the culture we try to build here.
My dad, he's a very hard worker. He is very hard worker. He is also humble. He's very generous and very caring.
Joe is somebody that leads by example, and that is something that is extremely powerful.
My dad, he's a great man. He's somebody that I look up to, above anyone else.
Joe's a family guy. There's nothing more important to him than his family.
I can't think of a more loyal person than my dad. He's always got your back, and very loving person, and I feel so lucky that he's my dad.
All 3 of us are very close. Tom he's definitely the jokester. He keeps things light, and he's funny. Tom and Jack are both just fun to be around.
We have a strong relationship, and that's
been another piece that's been instilled in us, which is important. So the reason for us being able to all work together is that we're all like-minded and want the same thing out of our relationships with each other.
It's been fun to come into the office and see my brother, sister, cousins, my dad, and to just kind of relate to them on a whole another level.
I've got my 3 children, son-in-law, a niece's husband, and Joe Boone is here. Having that, them involved in the business, there's nothing more rewarding. It's really special.
Well, there you have it. And now I'd like to introduce you to the resident joker, Tom Ryan. Tom is Vice President of People and Culture at Oppidan. He's responsible for maintaining the culture among the 38 employees in 3 locations across the U.S. Tom joined Oppidan in 2013 as developer, a role in which he helped clients achieve their growth and expansion goals. Tom holds Bachelor's of Arts degree in management from the University of St. John's, as well as a Master's of Science in commercial real estate. He's a member of the Minnesota Shopping Center Association and the International Council of Shopping Centers. Tom, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Allison. Yeah, thanks for having me, and thank you for the honor of receiving this award. It means a lot to the family and a lot to the business, as you're in the video, who's also family. So.
Well, absolutely. It's been really fun to get to know your family just a little bit, and you can feel the love and the camaraderie among all of you. It sounds like it's a fun office to be in. That is when we can all be in the office, right?
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
So let's start talking a little bit about the business. Obviously, development. You started in retail. You've been kind of evolving and diversifying over the last few years, which probably was a good position to be in heading into 2020. What is happening in the world of development right now? Yeah,
certainly. Excuse me. Certainly. Diversification was you'd like to say you saw it coming and it was all 100% planned that way, but fact of the matter is that was something that we pivoted because we had to. This was coming into the downturn of 2008. We were predominantly retail, had to decide to diversify, went into some multifamily, senior housing, industrial. And from there, those 3 things, along with a few others, grew and continued to grow. Along with, retail is still a part of our business, just not nearly as much as it was, for the majority of the lifetime of our company.
So what happened? I guess let's start, back in the spring. Did projects come to a halt? Did you feel a slowdown, or have things continued?
There was I think there was more of a perception of a pause than there actually was. We kept going. We had projects under construction, projects in the entitlement process in the cities, projects that were just finishing up, and we were getting ready to sell them, and those things might have gotten pushed a bit in terms of not happening as quickly as we'd like them to be, but in terms of the pipeline, they stayed there. We remained busy, and we remain busy. So
well, that's good. That's good.
That's something we're very, very thankful for. So.
Of course. So I think, Tom, of all the family businesses in this year's awards program, yours has the most family members actively working in the business currently. What is that like? What is it? What is the culture like working with your siblings and cousins and father?
Yeah, siblings, cousins, cousin-in-law, second cousin. We've got quite a few in the mix here. But it's great. It's in the video, as my dad alluded to, it's a family atmosphere. company wide. It's all 42. But it's a fun time. It's fun to walk in and see your brother, your sister, your cousin, to work with my dad, to work with cousins and everybody. It's a cool thing. And then to see everybody else feel that camaraderie as well, and feel a part of Oppidan and the Oppidan family is a big part of what we're proud of.
Was it a given for you that you'd go into business with your dad? I mean, was that something that you always aspired to do? Was it something that he wanted you to do? How did that work?
Yeah, it was never something that was pushed upon any of us. It was always, if there's interest, let's talk about it and see if there's a fit. But ideally, you go and work somewhere else for a period of time, and then there's never going to be a position waiting for any of you. This is my dad talking to us. There's never going to be a position just waiting for any of you. It's is there a need, and can you fill it? And lucky enough with through education and just the way that our business has gone, those opportunities have arose, and we've all decided to come on board, which I think inherently we see it growing up, and we have that inherent interest in it, and so it's been fun.
I was going to say, what was it like at the dinner table at your house? I mean, is that part of it and part of the interest, you think? What was business something that did your dad expose you to it growing up? Was it something that, he involved you and his kids to kind of build that interest?
Yeah, certainly the good parts of it. It wasn't any, nothing. All the wins and the positives, the cool groundbreakings, going and seeing, going and visiting. When Buffalo Wild Wings just came to town, and it was a part of a shopping center that we had done. I remember going and visiting and eating there and thinking of how cool that was. That this was something that my dad's company did, and going into the office and meeting the people there, and around the dinner table, it was more family conversation. But I think my sister in the article alluded to the fact that every time we would take a family to vacation on the road, we would we would drive by within at least 10 or 15 miles of a project of ours, and we'd have to take a little detour to go and see it. So it was it's pretty cool in hindsight. It was a little, we just wanted to get home back then.
Right. Always have those hard hats at the ready, I suppose.
Yeah, exactly.
What's the best business advice you've received from your father?
I would say from a family aspect, that professionally, that our relationship as a family, and his words especially between Kelly, my sister, myself, and my younger brother Jack, that bond is important, and that those personal relationships are important, and that professionally nothing is ever more important than that relationship, than those relationships, and that nothing can or should come in the way of those. And I'm lucky to say that I've got two best friends that are my siblings. So that's lucky, and makes that advice easy. But I think that's a big part of that bond, is how much the importance our parents put on that value. And then and then just professionally, he's led by example. He's a hard worker. He grew up in Hibbing, working in the coal mines, and he's works hard, and then when he's done working, he plays hard. And that's a fun thing to see, and something to aspire to, for sure.
Absolutely. Every parent's dream to have their kids say they're best friends and want to not only play together but work together, right?
Right, exactly.
Looking ahead to 2021, what opportunities are you excited about for Oppidan?
Over the last few years, we've been really growing in the the senior housing space, and that's been fun to see. Those are a little longer projects to see come to fruition, and they're starting to, and so that's been fun. A few industrial deals that we're looking forward to doing, and just seeing what opportunities come of this unfortunate pandemic that we're in. And there's a lot of deals have been put on the shelf, and we're excited to be there to hopefully be able to handle that and serve some new clients.
Yeah. It is reassuring though to see the construction cranes still moving downtown, other parts of the city, that there still is development in the works. I know that retail isn't your focus, but at the same time you are on all of these councils and committees. I'm curious what your thoughts are from your point of view and as a developer. Do you believe in the future of brick and mortar? Are we going to see more? Are we going to see retailers fill some of these empty spots? What do you think?
I think so. I mean, the retail experience is it's an experience. I mean, obviously Amazon's taking a big chunk out of it, and that's an easy thing to do and order something online and it's here the next day. But there is something to walking in a store and feeling it, touching it, trying it on, whatever it might be. So yeah, no, I think those spaces will get filled up more creatively than they have in the past. Whether that be a retail focus or more of an experience focus, but we'll see. No, I mean we're certainly not down on retail. That just hasn't been our focus as of late.
Right. And I know obviously you've done grocery stores and all kinds of purposes that are very important to our community. Before we let you go, Tom, any advice that you'd give? I mean, being immersed in a family business, what advice would you give to other family businesses, maybe as they're setting up or thinking about a generational transition? Any words of wisdom?
Yeah, I would say just to make sure that those bonds are strong to begin with, because they're going to be tested, and when you go into business, and as we talked about earlier, that's not something that you want to have broken. So make sure that those bonds and relationships are solid coming up front, and people are coming in with full disclosure across the board, and hopefully you're successful.
Yeah,
So
great advice.
The family business has been an awesome thing for our family. So
it certainly sounds like it. Well, Tom, thank you, and congrats to you and everyone on the team. It's really been a pleasure to feature you this year as one of our 2020 Minnesota Family Business honorees.
All right, thanks, Allison. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. Now I'd like to welcome Michaela Smith. She's the winner of this year's Hubler Award for her multidisciplinary approach to working with family businesses. Michaela Smith is a licensed psychologist whose work focuses on the development of the rising generation within family enterprises. She helps family members and business leaders identify and maximize their gifts and talents while also addressing potential derailing tendencies. She's a product of a family business and is able to draw upon her personal as well as professional experience while working with families. Thanks for joining us, Michaela.
Thank you for having me.
And we're so glad to include you and honor you. Tom Hubler, who started this program, he is the one who picks the winner of this every year, and it's always somebody with great insights to family business.
I appreciate the honor.
And it seems somehow fitting that you literally had to get your own daughter situated upstairs before coming on to join us today.
It's full on, it's family and business are always integrated these days, it seems.
That is so true. So, Tom called out your experience and expertise in really working with the next generation, which is kind of the true test of a family business, right? Can you make that transition to the next generation? What is your approach or advice for that?
So, as I work with the rising generation, my goal is to empower them, with the tools that they need to develop successfully in their careers. And that looks different for each person. And sometimes they're employees of the business and sometimes they're not. But my goal is that each person feels empowered to maximize their own gifts and talents. It's often very different than the founding generation or the generation above them. So trying to carve out a space where they get to be themselves and develop their own talents, address any potential pitfalls they might have. That's the goal, is try and recognize those things and develop their talents.
Right, right. So let's talk about Oppidan for a minute in particular. What stands out to you about their structure and their culture that's really set them up for success?
Tom hit on a few, really important things, and in the video, the rest of them did as well. They have a tremendous amount of mutual respect for each other. So the rising generation has a tremendous amount of respect for the one above them. And similarly, that top generation has a lot of respect for the ones coming up behind them. And so they're really invested in each other's success. A win for someone else is a win for the team. And you can see that, in the way they interact with each other. They're diligent in having those tough conversations. They're structured, they have formality to those tough conversations. There's also a degree of humility, I think, and vulnerability that they have with each other. And it allows them to meaningfully connect and to grow with each other, as a family and as a business. And I think you can see that, as they speak about each other, there's certainly a tremendous amount of love they have for each other, but they back it up with the structure and formality to grow together.
Right, right. That's the key. What is the number one thing? And I don't mean to, to sell short all the great advice that you give when people come and see you at your agency, Eden, in town, but what's the number one thing that family businesses can do to set themselves up for success and longevity?
An ounce of prevention holds true here. It's always easier to plan for differences and potential obstacles. Always. Trying to react to them once they happen or being surprised by them is so much harder and really sets you back a lot. So trying to get ahead of it, being proactive, and working with a team of interdisciplinary family business advisors, just puts you ahead of the game and sets you up for potential for success going forward.
Right. Well, great advice. Thank you, Michaela, and congrats on the honor. You can, of course, read more about Michaela in the issue and online at tcbmag.com. So much great information. Thank you both, Michaela and Tom, for joining us today. I want to thank our partners once again, Hubler for Family Business, of course, founder of the program, and our sponsors, Frederickson and Byron, University of St. Thomas, Family Business Center, and the Platinum Group. Thank you all for joining us. This has really been, it's one of those necessary pivots, but it's been such a delight to get to talk one-on-one like this and learn more about the businesses. I hope you take a minute to watch the previous conversations if you haven't seen them already at tcbmag.com. And today's session will be available online in just the next couple of days. Thanks again, everybody. Have a great afternoon.